Good morning, Amra. It's Friday.
Amra grabbed her bag, the one with the Andy Warhol banana art on it, and rushed out the door. Unless she left right now, she would miss the tracks and be late to the concert. She pulled open the door and paused. Her ukulele sat on her messy bed, its strings gleaming in an entrancing way. It seemed to call to her. Letting out an exasperated breath, she ran back and grabbed the instrument, shoving it unceremoniously into her bag. Kilby Court was relatively crowded. People were spilling out the entrance and into the street. The venue was small, meant for local bands with humble followings. Occasionally, though, Kilby would book a band that was more well-known. The Mountain Goats were such a band. Amara smiled and greeted the friends and acquaintances that loitered outside of the entrance. She rifled through the bag, her hand moving past the ukulele. Finally, her fingers brushed the small rectangle that was her wallet. She presented the required $7 to the clerk. He stamped her hand. As she entered Kilby, her good friend Andra caught up to her. Speaking loudly over the music and noise of the crowd, she said, "Amber, why are you so late? The opening band has been playing for like 20 minutes. The Mountain Goats are going to play any second." Amara shrugged and looked away, feeling foolish for missing the tracks. The Mountain Goats were, after all, one of the most important bands in her life. How could she have missed the train? Why had she grabbed that ukulele? The two ladies shoved their way through the crowd, ignoring the offended looks from the colorful concert-goers. They pushed into the garage-like building that housed the stage, just in time to see the closing number from the opening band. The majority of the crowd shuffled out of the building, seeking relief from the muggy heat. Amara and Andra navigated the remaining people, reaching the closest spot to the stage. Amara breathed in relief, happy that she hadn't missed a minute of the main show. Suddenly, J.D. and his band burst through the corrugated metal of the wall, bright sparks flying. Amara let out a high-pitched squeal, half from surprise and half from excitement. Quickly hooking up their instruments, J.D. approached the mic. "This is a song I wrote." The band burst into song, the notes that produced being almost visible, creating a miasma around them. J.D. abruptly stopped playing, his band trailing after him. Andrew looked at Amara questioningly. Amara shrugged, looking confused herself. The gathering crowd murmured conspiratorially. What was he doing? Were they still going to play? "What this song needs," J.D. said into the mic, "is a ukulele." Amara gasped and instinctively pulled out her small instrument. J.D.'s eyes flicked rapidly towards her, like a lizard. "You," he said, "do you know all of the Mountain Goat songs in that thing?" She nodded solemnly. Good thing that she had practiced everyone. J.D. motioned with his head and Amara climbed up, careful of her bad ankle. She stood next to Peter Hughes. He handed her a cord to plug into her ukulele and bowed. Amara bowed back, as is traditional when two Tumblr friends meet IRL. "Are you ready?" Peter asked. Amara hesitated, and then nodded. "What's wrong?" "This just all seems wrong without Shelley." Peter raised his eyebrows and Amara swallowed and continued. "She's my best friend, and a huge fan. She's not here right now because she's in Hungary. We also covered TMG songs together. I don't want to do this without her." Peter looked sad. Amara looked sad. "I wouldn't worry about that," J.D. interjected, cutting off their mourning. Amara raised her eyebrows at Peter, and he shrugged. She did too, and trusting J.D. with all of her heart, the band as one began to play. The harsh chords of Lovecraft in Brooklyn began to sound, and as the music picked up, things began to glow. Andrew and Spencer seemed to be the only ones who noticed. The musicians in the audience seemed so into the music that nothing else mattered, much less glowing. Andrew shrugged at Spencer, and they both began to dance, the room growing brighter and the music more intense. Shelley sat at the small coffee shop, holding her steamed milk, small earphones piping music into her ears, and sighed. Though she had been enjoying Budapest, she wanted to be at the TMG concert more than anything. As she moped, a bright light appeared in the alleyway down the street. Shelley was momentarily blinded, but stumbled her way towards the light which was playing the Mountain Goats music. Her eyesight returned and she found herself in the midst of a crowd of people, all dancing to the dulcet tones of her favorite band. She couldn't believe it. Was that Amara playing next to Peter Hughes? Despite being stunned, Shelley let out a small scream and ran to the front of the stage, nodding to Andrew and Spencer. J.D. noticed her, his sweaty hair just long enough to brush the top of his shoulders. He nodded, and she understood. Shelley climbed on the stage in a feat of gymnastic strength not normally available to her. Someone handed her a guitar and she began to strum wildly to Southwood Plantation Road, her favorite song. She belted out the music as well, but was luckily far enough away from the mic that no one heard. Amara and Shelley played fervently, their hearts combining with those of the band as they played. The night went long and the concert seemed to never end, not that anyone wanted to. Finally, though, it was time for one last song, This Year. The song brought down the energy, but united the crowd and the band in a way that seemed both final and infinite. They sang the song, and as it ended, Shelley gave everyone one last hug. Her wish had been fulfilled, and she could finally die, which she did. The end.
Amara, I wrote a fanfiction about Ambra and Shelby and the mountain goats. So your prompt is to write a fanfiction about Ambra and Shelby and someone or something else.
Goosebumps.
You do have permission to go over because I did, and you said it was okay. Well, Amara and the Shelby Ambra, I will see you on Tuesday.